What's up guys, Niccolo5 here. In today's video, I'm going to try to change the way that you think about money. Did you know that throughout most of human history, our ancestors have actually not worked for money the way that we do? For them, it was all about survival. What they worked for mostly was food to eat. And I kind of think most people are going to understand the principles of money better if they're explained in terms of food, because that's how our ancestors learned. So I want you to imagine back 2 or 3 or 10,000 years ago, back to a time when they worked for food instead of money. And I want you to imagine that every day you wake up and you go out and you hunt for food, or you fish for food, gather berries, however it is you do it. And you gather enough food for that day, and once you have enough food for that day, you quit for the day. You eat all the food that day, and you never save any for later. This is essentially what most people do these days, living paycheck to paycheck. I think I saw a statistic the other day that said that I think it said 60% of people in the US live paycheck to paycheck. But what happens when one day it rains and you don't feel like getting out of bed and going out and working in the nasty rain? Or what happens if you fall and break your leg and you actually can't go out and gather food? Or even what's going to happen when winter comes? You're not going to be able to gather as much food in the winter as you can in the spring, summer, and fall. So you're going to go hungry all winter. So then let's look at a similar scenario. Just like before, you wake up every day, you go out and you work for food, hunting or fishing or gathering berries, however you do it. But instead of only gathering enough for that day, let's say it takes you 5 hours to gather enough food for the day. Let's say you just spend an extra hour and get 20% more food each day, and you start saving that food every day and storing it away. This way, when winter comes, if you have a bad day and it's rainy out and you don't feel like doing it, or if you hurt your leg or whatever happens, you know you have that little bit of an extra cushion that you don't have to go work today or starve and die. This is a much better scenario, but there's still one problem with this. After you store a certain amount of food, the food starts to go bad, and sooner or later the food's going bad faster than you can add to it, and you're not even saving anymore, you're just replenishing the food that's going bad. And maybe you learn to eat the food before it goes bad and eat the older stuff first, but still some of it is going to go bad. You have what's called shrinkage. Now, in money, do you have that same shrinkage? Well, yeah, it's called inflation. Every single year, your money gets worth a little bit less and the buying power of it goes down. Every year the prices of things go up, but the amount of money stays the same. So in money, you have that same kind of shrinkage as you do with food. This is where investing comes into play. So I want you to imagine that when you go out to go hunting, instead of killing an animal and hunting it and harvesting the food, instead you just throw a rope around it, drag it back and build a pen and lock it up. And then each day you can go out and maybe it's a cow and you can milk it every day and you get free food every single day just for having that animal around. And it's not quite as much as you would get from killing the cow and eating it, but you still have the cow. It's still an option. And the same principle works with money, actually. If you buy stocks or something, you still have that money in the stock market, and you can always still sell the stocks and get your money back out. You can still butcher your cow, but it works better. Instead of having a sack of meat that's going to go bad, you keep the cow alive and get milk from it every single day, and it feeds you that way. Or maybe in the case of berry bushes or something, instead of picking the berry bushes and stuff, or instead of picking the berries off the bush, you could dig it up and transplant it somewhere closer to you so that you have that food available whenever you need it. This is the basic principle behind investing. And I'm saying this because most people don't understand what investing is. They think it's this magic thing where you bury your food and 2 weeks later you dig it up and there's somehow more food there. It doesn't exactly work like that. So one last thing before I go, you're probably wondering how much money should you actually save up and have in savings before you start investing? Well, there is no exact one right answer. There's a huge range, but I would say ideally I would save between 3 and 6 months. Anything more than 6 months, you're starting to lose money to inflation. And it's not horrible at this point. You don't have to panic and find somewhere for your money right away. I'd say you're still okay up to about a year. Once you get past a year of savings, you probably want to start looking at something to invest in. And for a minimum, I would say at least 1 month. If you have at least 1 month, even if you're not at the 3 months, you're probably okay. You don't have to like freak out and save every penny. You can just relax and save at a regular pace. For me, I would definitely try to get it up between that 3 to 6 month mark. To me, that's where I think the sweet spot is. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on investing. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you want to see more great videos like this one, don't forget to click that subscribe button.